So, all right. Before I forget that, we want to showcase Bennett's healing uh, with the four-piece set we're running right now. We will get Zhongli's HP low, and then we will use Bennett's burst. And also, we have the elemental resonance of Moving Water, which increases our incoming healing by 30%. So, yeah. So now we've come to Guyunstone Forest. That's probably the best place to lose your health, as you have some rune guards here that will beat us up in a very fast passion. Great. And now we can shield up, and we can go for Bennett's burst, and go to Zhongli, and you can see almost 10k healing on Zhongli. And yeah, it's pretty good. Let's talk about Healer Bennett. For Healer Bennett, what is important is you have a lot of HP. That's what you need to focus on. That's what his healing abilities scale off. We can have a quick look over my stats. 30,000 HP. Crit doesn't really matter unless you want to deal some side damage, and energy recharge needs to be high. Around 200 is pretty good. I think that's a good spot to be at. Now, if you look at the weapon, I'm running the Skyward Blade. I think it's the weapon, the sword with the highest energy recharge and the highest base attack, and the combination. Obviously, the Sacrificial Sword has more energy recharge, and the Favonius Sword also has more energy recharge, but this one provides better base attack. And if you use Bennett as a support unit, you also want to have as much base attack as you can get from a sword, so your Bennett provides as much attack to your party members whenever his elemental burst is down, and that's why we're using the Skyward Blade. So now we can talk about alternatives for the Skyward Blade. Basically, any sword everybody has with a very high energy recharge is the Favonius Sword. Crit hits have a chance to generate small amount of elemental particles, which makes the energy recharge even better on the sword. You will have 100% burst uptime if you use the sword. There's no way you cannot have the burst ready whenever the cooldown is down. And another sword you could use is the Festering Desire, event weapon version 1.2, I think. No idea if it's gonna return, so if you don't have it yet, I don't think you will ever get it. However, they can always bring it back, but at this point, never a weapon has returned, so yeah. And the other option would be the Sacrificial Sword. You can have a cooldown reset from your elemental skill, and it also features the same base attack and energy recharge as the Favonius Sword. So yeah, both of these are pretty good for energy recharge. Now, what artifacts we're running currently is a 4-piece Noblesse set, which seems to have the wrong circlet, I might add. Here, there we go. I was playing a bit DPS Bennett on the side. So now, we're running a 4-piece Noblesse set for the 4-piece bonus. Using an elemental burst increases all attack party members' attack by 20% for 12 seconds. So whenever you place Fantastic Voyage, which already buffs your attack, you'll get another 20% of attack on top of that, which is pretty great. You usually run this 4-piece Noblesse set on support characters like Bennett, Qingshu, I think Rosaria also, and Chongyun. Those are like the characters you want to run a 4-piece Noblesse set on. Qingshu has a new better set, which is the Emblem of Severed Fate. And yeah, but you can still use the 4-piece Noblesse on him regardless. Now let's look at the artifacts. Those are pretty good artifacts. Each of them include some little amount of HP, as that's what his healing ability scales on. Yeah, just make sure to have HP in all artifacts if possible. These don't have HP, right? Yeah, so that's my only Noblesse plume that has some HP and some energy recharge and elemental mastery and crit damage, so it's not that bad. And if you look at the plume, flat HP, crit rate, attack. Here the Sands of Ian, HP main stat. You can also use an energy recharge one. It really depends on how high your energy recharge is. As of now, there's no sword that gives HP percentage as the second stat, so you won't really need to have the energy recharge unless you don't want to have as much healing as Bennett would provide on the highest potential. So then you go for an energy recharge Sands of Ian. The goblet also HP percentage, some crit stats, I know, kinda crazy, and some flat HP. And then the circlet is healing bonus. You can also run HP percentage, but healing bonus will turn out to be better. Yeah, we have 16% HP percentage, some energy recharge, and flat HP. Now, you can also play Bennett as a healer with the Maiden's Beloved set. There we go. It increases your healing effectiveness by 15%. I don't know why they chose this wording. It's basically a 15% healing bonus. And then whenever you use an elemental skill or elemental burst, healing is also increased for all party members by 20% for 10 seconds, which increases his healing even more. Now, you can run a 4-piece Maiden's Beloved or a 2-piece Maiden and 2-piece Tenacity of Milelith, or however they pronounce that set. You can play all sorts of combinations, but for me, I think the 4-piece Noblesse is the best, as you get extra attack from the elemental burst. And yeah, my constellations are C5. I have unlocked the 6th constellation. I'm not going for the 6th constellation. You probably have heard about the controversy around Bennett's C6. Until they make it reversible, so basically allow us to deactivate constellations to a certain point, I will not activate it, because I don't really have any pyro melee characters. So this change would basically make all my DPS melee characters for now worse than they actually are currently. So it doesn't really benefit me. So that's why I keep it unactivated. Now, if we look at the constellations that will benefit your healing the most, this one is probably something everybody should aim for. It's not going to increase your healing, but it increases, or it grants a benefit. So whenever you unlock the first constellation, you'll be able to heal and gain the attack buff from Fantastic Voyage. As you can read here, attack increase no longer has HP restriction. If you have Bennett on C0, whenever you use your Fantastic Voyage, your character who is getting healed has to reach or get above 70% of their HP amount before they can access the attack buff. That's why if you have a support Bennett or healer Bennett, which is basically a support Bennett too, you want to have at least Constellation 1. And I think, if I don't forget and edit it into this video, on my guide I released, I recommend C1 Bennett as well, as a foundation to have a pretty good Bennett. Now, the other constellations are pretty good too. This one here increases energy recharge when Bennett's HP is below 70%. That's pretty great. And then this one here, the True Explorer, increases Fantastic Voyage by 3 levels. Fantastic Voyage is his elemental burst, which heals you, and whenever the level of this thing goes up, you'll have increased healing. Obviously mine is max, so I can't really show you. But yeah, this continuous regeneration per second will be increased. The max is 12.75 HP and 1.588 HP, basically. But if you have it on lower levels, it will obviously be lower than that. Also, the attack bonus ratio will get increased if you increase your Fantastic Voyage level. Now, there's this Rekindle just decreases some elemental skill cooldown. This one here basically decreases the elemental skill cooldown too. Whenever you put your Fantastic Voyage down, it reduces your elemental skill cooldown by 50%, so it goes down. timer goes down twice as fast as it usually does. So basically, it will only take you 2 seconds instead of the 4 or 5. Yeah, okay, never mind. 2.5 instead of the 5. But if you account this one here, decreases by 20%, it will be 4 seconds instead of 5. And then it will be 2 seconds instead of 2.5. And yeah, Bennett will not be launched by effects of charge level 2. You can charge up his elemental skill if you hold the elemental skill button. And there's charge level 1 and charge level 2. And the charge level 2 shouldn't be knocking him back. And yeah, that's about it. And here he decreases expedition time in Mondstadt. Yeah, that's about it. That's everything you need to know about Healer Bennett. Yeah.